McLaren is a Formula One constructor, the second oldest active team and the second most successful Formula One team after Ferrari, having won 183 races, 12 drivers' championships and 8 constructors' championships. Now let's take a closer look at all the papaya, well, sometimes red and white, world drivers' champions to date. With the new tobacco sponsor and a superstar driver in Emerson Fittipaldi, gave McLaren its first shot at the Drivers' Championship. Emerson Fittipaldi and Clay Ragazzoni went into the last race of the World Championship with equal points. Ragazzoni dropped down the field with handling problems. Fittipaldi finished in the points and secured the championship. McLaren has also managed to collect enough points to win their first constructors' title. Then came 1976, a season that is forever immortalized in Formula One memory. The season started with Lauda winning 4 races and being constantly on the podium. That was up until the German Grand Prix, where he would suffer a horrific crash. James Hunt, who was second in the championship, started to cut into Lauda's championship lead. Niki Lauda miraculously returned by the Italian Grand Prix and finished in 4th place. McLaren at the hands of Hunt was still flying, and after winning back-to-back races, the title was to be contested in Japan. Lauda retired at the start. He was not going to risk his life anymore in the pouring rain. The race went on and James Hunt fought his way to 3rd place and won his first and only world championship. It is ironic that McLaren had to wait so long to crown another world champion, and that world champion will be Niki Lauda himself. After a few sabbaticals and falling out of love with the sport, Lauda came back in 1982 and started to win races with McLaren. By 1984, he would have a shot at the title. His main rival would be Alain Prost. He managed to beat the Frenchman by the narrowest of margins. And no, I'm not talking about a point, but half a point. McLaren officially entered its glory days. Alain Prost, the French superstar, arrived on the scene in the early 80s and was straight away championship material. After missing on the title in 1984, he dominated the 85 season to secure his first world championship and another constructor's title for McLaren. In 1986 was completely different. All the bad luck that Prost had during his career at that point turned into good luck. The 1986 race in Adelaide was a 3-way fight for the World Championship between Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, Nelson Piquet. Mansell had 70 points, 6 more than Prost and 7 more than Piquet. The Williams-Honda pair self-imploded in the closing stages of the Grand Prix. A tire blowout for Mansell and the precautionary stop for Piquet gave the win to Prost and meant that the Frenchman was back-to-back world champion. After Keke Rosberg retired unexpectedly, McLaren signed a certain Ayrton Senna. It proved to be the best decision in F1 history and one that has elevated the sport to global coverage. Senna won that championship and McLaren won all but one race. By today's point standard, that championship would have gone to Prost, but back then, only the best 11 race results counted for the championship. Regardless, Senna finished the season with 8 wins and Prost with 7. In '89, Prost was ready for whatever Senna threw at him. The two McLaren drivers were trading punch after punch, and the next race was the Japanese Grand Prix, where Senna needed a win to continue his title defense. In the closing stages of the Grand Prix, Senna had the chance to dive at the chicane, which he did, and Prost blocked him. Both drivers collided and were pitched. Prost got out of the car, thinking that was the end, but Senna stayed inside and asked to be pushed back on the track by the marshals. In the end, they did. Senna drove a fantastic recovery race and managed to win. That win put him now in striking distance of Prost in the championship, but FIA had other plans. Senna was disqualified from the race, meaning Prost could not lose the title. Alain Prost had enough of the inter-team battle at McLaren and moved to Ferrari for the 1990 F1 season, and was really quick out of the box. The gloves were off. Senna was in with the shot to clinch the title mathematically at the Japanese Grand Prix. In qualifying, Senna took pole ahead of Prost. Senna was unhappy with the pole, being locating on a dirty side of the track, thus giving second place a bit of an advantage of the line. Senna decided that he would intentionally drive his race car into Prost's Ferrari into the first corner. That was if Prost would overtake him at the start. And the rest is history. The two would crash and DNF. Senna was world champion again. In 1999, Senna was dominating right from the start, winning 4 races and running away with it in front of Mansell. However, towards the end of the season, the rumors emerged that an advanced car manufactured by Williams was on the cards. And just like that, McLaren's golden era has ended. It took McLaren a complete overhaul and the signing of Adrian Newey to return at the top of the game. A new engine partnership with Mercedes and big money from West was a good sign for the team. The car was flying at the start of 1998, but a series of DNFs and a late charge from Ferrari meant that the title would go down to the wire. In Japan, the last race of the season, Schumacher retired and Mika Hakkinen was crowned world champion. McLaren also won the Constructors. It's crazy to think that this will be their last Constructors championship to date. In 1999 was more of the same. A string of unreliability and with an Eddie Irvine scoring points consistently meant that there would be another showdown in Japan. After a few laps, Irvine was too far behind to mount a challenge and Schumacher never came close to pose a threat. Ferrari settled for second and third place in that race to win the Constructors, while Hakkinen celebrated his back-to-back world championship. No one expected for the next title to take this long, as McLaren looked destined to mark an era, but Ferrari had other plans. A change in regulations by the mid-2000s meant the field was leveled again. Hamilton and Massa were still in with the chance to clinch the world championship at the last race. Felipe Massa needed the win to keep his championship hopes alive, which he did, and was champion for about 15 seconds, when a late overtake by Hamilton in the final corner meant that the Brit will clinch his maiden championship by 1 point. After a few shaky years, McLaren appears to be back in contention in Formula 1, but a great illustrious past doesn't guarantee a future success. Today, McLaren's legacy extends outside Formula 1 and are truly a legends of motorsport. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you do like the video. Drop me a comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.